This is the plaintiff, Tamika McCune. She says she hired the defendant's moving company, and he damaged 2 pieces of her fancy, expensive bedroom set she purchased at Bob's Discount Furniture. The defendant needs to take responsibility for his inept employees. She's owed $5,000 for a new set, and since the defendant refuses to be a good businessman, she's dragging him into court here today. This is the defendant, Christopher Monks, owner of Two Young Studs Moving Company. He says this is an open and shut case because the plaintiff didn't even inform him there was any damage until days after the move. How does he know what supposedly happened to her discount inferior furniture once she had it in her possession all that time? Besides, he has a signed contract stating the plaintiff's rights, and if something does get damaged, which he isn't saying he did, the plaintiff can only recover 60 cents on the pound. He's accused of dropping it.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come forward, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Tamika McCune.
Yes.
Okay, you are suing Two Young Studs Moving Company. I love this. Represented by Christopher Monks. You're one of the studs?
I was a former stud, yes, but I'm too old now to be handling the actual moves.
Retired stud now? Okay, are you one of the owners who named it?
Yes, I'm the owner of the company.
Okay, you're suing them for the statutory maximum, $5,000, because according to you, they ruined some furniture. Tell me what happened.
Yes. On June 2nd, 2014, I spoke with Mr. Monk. I called to get a quote of how much it would be to move a 3-bedroom house. He advised me that I should get 2 trucks and 4 men. I agreed upon it. I made the deposit. The move was supposed to be between 8 a.m. to 12. They was about 15 to 20 minutes late. When they showed up, it was only 3 men and 1 truck. The other gentleman was late, which he showed up.
How late was that gentleman?
That gentleman was over an hour. So they started moving, the 3 gentlemen started moving the stuff. They got everything ready within an hour. And then the 4th gentleman showed up with the other truck just in time when they started breaking down the bedroom set. I explained to them that I needed them to be extra careful with my bedroom set. That was the purpose of me getting a moving company, because I didn't want it damaged. And they promised me that it wouldn't be a problem. We left. Everything is on the truck.
And everything looked good so far?
Everything looked good so far,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
All right.
I got to the new location, which is about 10 minutes away. Waited for about a little over 30 minutes for them to get there, which only took me 10. So once they got there, I told my son to make sure he stayed with them. At that time, I went to go do some other things that I had to do. They only accepted cash, so I had to go get the money from the bank. When I got back, my son came to me to let me know that the mover damaged my dresser and my mirror. And he told me that the gentleman, there's a lip on the floor, and I guess the way that they positioned the furniture on the dolly was legs down. So it tore off the whole right side of the dresser, bottom
Okay, do you
legs.
have pictures?
Yes,
Okay, may I see it?
yes.
All right, so did they say anything to you?
They didn't until I addressed it.
Okay. What is this a picture of?
That's the side of the dresser. And those little knobs, those little pieces go into that little section.
Okay. And then these are the slats from the bed?
Yes.
And when do you address it?
I addressed it when I noticed that they were getting close to the time of finishing my move. I said, when were you going to tell me about my dresser and my mirror being damaged? At that particular time, he apologized for it and felt like glue should be able to fix it. I explained to the person that although I was being very nice and polite, that I was very angry that they damaged my set. At that particular time, I made my payment. He took $100 off for the gentleman being late. And then they left, and me and my son proceeded.
Did you sign something that said everything was received in perfect order?
I don't remember.
Did she sign something saying everything was received in perfect order?
No, she did not sign anything at the end of the move.
Because she complained from the beginning that you guys broke her bedroom set, right?
She did not complain to me personally. She may have
I'm not
complained to
asking
the
about you
movers.
personally. You have agents who are there. She can't complain to you personally because you're not in her apartment. Did she complain to them immediately, guys, you broke my furniture? Or, as you state in the complaint, is this something that turned up much later?
This is something that turned up later. I was not aware of any damage.
Did you ever ask the movers, hey, what happened?
Yes, of course.
And did any of them say, yeah, we broke it?
No, none of them
Did
said
any of them
anything.
say, she told me we broke it? She claims we broke it on the spot.
No, there was no mention of that.
Then why don't you have the form that every mover gets their customers to sign saying everything is copacetic?
We don't typically ask the customer to sign the form because the form that is signed at the beginning of the move
The form that is signed
addresses
at the
everything.
beginning has to do with what happens for liability. We will discuss that in a minute and what the limits on liability are. You're not my first rodeo. Are you telling me that you've been in business for a decade and that on none of your moves do you ever have a homeowner sign at the end of the move to say everything was okay? Is that what you're telling me? Do you have such a form?
There's nothing signed at the end of the move.
Ever in any of your moves?
Correct.
Well, then you're an idiot because you're the first mover I've ever met who doesn't have that form. First, ever. Or you do have that form and she didn't sign it because she complained from the beginning that your guys broke it. Okay, so you bought this stuff at Bob's Discount Furniture.
Mm-hmm.
How long ago did you buy it?
At that particular time, it was, I think, either 3 to 4 years prior.
And how much did you pay for it?
It was close to $4,000.
So you have the discussions with Bob to figure out how much it weighs, and why are you having those discussions with Bob?
Because Chris told me that they only pay by the weight, and I
Okay,
needed to
and
get
why
the-
did Chris tell you that they only pay by the weight?
Because I called him the day of,
Right, but
after
did you
the
see the
move.
form that you signed before the move that says, unless I state otherwise and purchase additional insurance, I am limited to 60 cents a pound? Did you see what you signed?
Yes, I see
Okay,
it.
so according to Bob's, the dresser and the mirror is 250 pounds?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how do you come up
Thank
with
you.
the prices? that you
I
come up-
went online to look for the dresser and the mirror to replace it.
I thought it was so these are the prices for you to replace it with something else that you like.
No, it's the same one. Bob's discontinued from them selling it. But I
Okay.
went online and I found, they gave me the name of the company.
Oh, I see, somebody else sells it.
Yes.
May I see what you got online?
Yes.
So let me hear from you. What is your defense?
So at the beginning of each move, the movers do introduce themselves. They ask the customers to sign a contract in 4 different places. First, giving us permission to move their items. Second, acknowledging that we're under no obligation to move certain items. And then the third talks about the insurance, where they needed to elect to purchase additional insurance 2 days prior to the move, or the standard valuation for moving items would be 60 cents per pound. One important thing on this contract does specifically say that particle board of any kind is not covered at all. It's not eligible for the 60 cents a pound
Let me
reimbursement.
see where the contract says that. Is it the one that has the 60 cents on it?
Yes. And to me, those items that we see in pictures are definitely made of particle board, which is a very flimsy material.
Are these your initials next to, and your signature on the bottom?
No. No.
Wait, you said that you signed a paper. You said that earlier.
No, I said I wasn't sure at the end if I signed anything.
Okay, but are you saying they forged that?
That's not my signature. I've never signed like that.
Hand me all of your ID right
Yep.
now.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. I have a question. Who hired a mover? Who's ever hired a mover? Hired a mover? Yeah. Ever read the moving contract before you signed it?
Oh, never.
You never read it.
No.
You think that's important?
I think that is a little important.
But why didn't you?
Well, because it's like really long.
Yeah. What about you?
Oh, yes, I definitely read the contract.
You read the whole thing.
Definitely.
You sat down and read 3 pages of contract.
Yes, for sure.
And did it help you?
Yes.
Say yes.
Yes.
Good. Okay. Going inside the courtroom.
Wow, it sure looks like your signature, ma'am. I gotta say, it is uncanny that the driver would know how you sign your signature.
The only thing that looks like mine, Your Honor, is the T. Again, I do not.
No.
There's
The
a-
T is super distinctive.
The only thing after
And
that.
then the M is kind of distinctive. And then from the L to the E, there's like a super, I'm talking.
I don't have
I'm
an
talking,
L.
I'm talking.
I'm sorry.
What is your last name?
McCune, M-C-K.
Okay, so it's so distinctive it looks like an L in your license and on this form. Wow.
May I speak?
Yeah, you can speak.
Okay, Your Honor. Again, as far as I can recall, I don't recall signing anything. One, I never met Chris at all. I did everything via computer.
Yeah, I know, but when they show up, they don't have you sign
They
something?
didn't have me sign anything, as
You're
I
not just saying that
recall.
because now he's saying
As-
they didn't have you sign anything at the end,
No,
right?
no, ma'am, and I'm not saying that. And I've always initialed.
Did you make an offer to her?
Yes, I did make an offer. We exchanged a number of emails back and forth. I offered her $123, which the customer was not happy with, but I based that on an assumption that the damaged items weighed 200 pounds. The customer asked to go back to reweigh the items. I said, sure, absolutely no problem, let me know. But to no avail, I was unable to reach.
Why?
Because the customer had different expectations that she wanted full replacement costs for all of the value.
As opposed to the weight.
Opposed to the weight.
And now you're suing for two things: a cost to replace it, which is not what you're entitled to in court. What you would be entitled to in court is the depreciated value of the item at the time that that side does something bad to you, unless you have agreed beforehand to limit your damages. You must have acknowledged to him that you in fact limited the liability to this, because I see emails back and forth where you're talking about how much it weighs. And then you realize, oh my gosh, this is gonna give me nothing, because it's just gonna give you a couple $100. You're also suing for reimbursement for unfinished move. What's that?
It took them literally 1 hour to load that whole 3-bedroom, living room, dining room, kitchen, 2.5 bath. And that left us with 3 hours left, along with travel, to get everything inside of the apartment. They should have gotten all the things in my apartment within 3 hours.
Okay, but were you there?
Yes, ma'am, I
So
was
what
there.
was the problem?
They were outside talking. My son came up and he was very upset because he felt like they was just dragging them outside.
Was there an elevator involved?
Yes, there's a
Okay,
service
so it obviously
elevator.
takes longer to move into an apartment with an elevator involved than it does to move out of a big house, right? Okay. And then $2,500 for emotional distress. How do you turn a case into double its size just by adding emotional? Well, I know how. I see it every day, but go ahead.
To be honest, Your Honor, I just really wanted to stick it to Chris because
Yeah,
he
I
has
got
set
that
the
impression.
standard. He has 6 open cases with the Better Business Bureau. So to me, I could have gotten my son and his football team to move my furniture. His words to me afterwards, you spent all that money, Mom, and you could have got me and the boys to move it just for dinner. You're right, but I did not want my furniture damaged.
Yeah.
It may not be everything to someone else, but I work hard for that, Your Honor.
Listen, you do not have to convince me of that. If you're moving somebody's stuff, you have to exercise the right amount of care. Now, I don't know that I agree with Bob's that, oh, you have to throw everything away. I mean, that's kind of goofy. I certainly wouldn't throw any of that away. I would make some attempts at repairing it. And you have a problem that we've discussed, and that is that you are limited to the 60 cents. His defense is, I don't have to pay anything because it's particle board, but he hasn't been able to prove that, so I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. It's not. They've damaged a whole lot of stuff there. But I am limited to, even if I'm guessing at the weight of your bed, I am still limited to the 60 cents that you agreed to. So I'm finding in your favor, not in the amount that you're asking, but in the amount of $240, and hopefully you're able to, with that and perhaps a little more, repair it to your satisfaction to where it's safe, because I think that it probably could be repaired. Okay? Good luck to you.
Thank you.
So the plaintiff prevails to the tune of $240. It's a lot less than the $5,000 she was seeking. Mr. Marks, the self-described retired stud, has just come out. That was kind of cute. Listen, the judge actually called you an idiot because you don't have people sign papers after the move. Is that really true? You sure of that?
She has a good point, and I'm definitely going to start implementing that. I thought my contract that I had at the beginning of the move addressed all of the issues that customers would come across, but I will definitely add an addendum to address that for future moves.
And you've just become aware of this now, and you've been in the movie business for so many years? That's pretty amazing.
Well, the customer does sign off on 4 different places, addressing everything that could possibly arise that would be not
In
in
the
their
front of
favor.
the move, not at the end?
Yes, correct.
See,
Before
that's
move,
your
yes.
problem. Thank you very much. Sorry. That's the way the judge decided. Now here comes the plaintiff. Well, you wanted $5,000, you got $240. How do you feel?
As long as everyone gets to see who Chris Monk is and that his company is inevitable, I'm satisfied with that.
You are? Well,
Yes.
congratulations.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you so much. And that's it. Harvey, what do you think?
Okay, Doug, it is not only very important to read the contract to know exactly how much they're going to pay you for damage to the property, but you should know, you should get insurance, moving insurance, because most of these moving companies limit their liability, and especially if you have expensive stuff, pay for the insurance. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.